So let's talk about the Game Boy Advanced SP. Hey guys, Rudy here with the Retro Universe, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Game Boy Advance SP and its hardware, and what makes it a really great system to own. Now, many will say the SP is the best version of the Game Boy line of systems due to its compact form factor. Its ability to be folded in half and have the screen protected, and also you can still play original Game Boy and Game Boy Color games on it. Not to mention it has a rechargeable battery now, so all you have to do is charge it up whenever you want to play it, instead of having to replace batteries. The SP has two different models. While they both look identical in terms of appearance, the biggest difference is going to be the screen. The first SP that came out is referred to as the AGS-001 model, and it was the second Game Boy system to come with a form of light on it. The Game Boy Light being the first, however, but it was not released outside of Japan, so not too many people actually count it. The SP001 introduced a front-lit screen that now allowed you to play the Game Boy in a darker setting, and you were finally able to see the screen without any form of external light. The 001 also had two settings that could be changed when you would press this button. If you were to press it when the front light is on, it will turn off the light and then allow you to play it like a previous Game Boy system with no light. Many people like this because it allowed the preservation of the battery and the handheld would last longer. However, since the whole point was now having a light on it, many just played with it on. I previously had a 001 model and ended up gifting it to a family member a few years back. When I bought this one, which is the second version of the SP that came out, also referred to as the AGS 101. Now, I don't have a 001 to hold them side by side, but just looking at it turned off like this, they look identical. The real change is when you power it on, as the SP101 now sports a backlit screen, which honestly, even to this day, looks amazing. The system came out in the early 2000s and still has a wonderful screen. This truly is a great way to play GBA games and also to play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. Heck, I've even sat it down like this and used it one hand to play games. It really is a great design and an idea that carried onto the DS and 3DS systems, as they also had a foldable design that allowed the system to have its screen protected and make it more compact. The one thing that wasn't quite ready yet was the ability to put the system into a sleep mode. Unfortunately, that didn't come out until the Nintendo DS. However, there were several games that allowed a sleep option where the SP was still on but the cartridge would go into a sleep mode, allowing you to fold the handheld and pick up your session in the event you had to put it down for a bit. Not too many games implemented this idea, but it was still cool that some developers tried it out. Now, let's get on to some of the negatives of the handheld. Now, some of these will be strictly my own opinion, but others are common amongst fans. I'll get to the big one first, and that is that Nintendo decided to remove the headphone jack on the handheld and instead required you to use an adapter on this section to use the headphones. I was never one to really use headphones when playing my Game Boys back then, but I see it being a big knock if you're traveling and your parents don't want to hear your little video game sounds, so headphones would have been great for situations like this. So Nintendo removing it for just this version of the Game Boy and then bringing it back for the Micro and the rest of their systems is quite odd. Another negative, and this will be more based on how you cared for your system, but the hinges were not always the best, and after multiple uses, it would start to wear out and even break. Now, you can chalk this up to kids being kids, but Nintendo was always thinking about kids and would even have drop tests they would perform to ensure the devices could handle a few falls without breaking. Again, this is on how the system was taken care of by the user, of course. But hinges breaking and coming loose was something that was actually quite common. As I've also said in other videos, while I love the design of the SP, I think that I could only play games on it for a small period of time. The reason for that is this is a thin design, and the way it needs to be held in order to be able to press all the buttons, it sometimes could feel a little uncomfortable for extended periods of time. This could be a controversial take because I see in comments often how users don't really ever have a problem with it. I personally do, and for playing for long periods of time, even for 30 minutes or more, can be difficult. I would sometimes rest it like this if playing something like an RPG, since I don't need to be pressing all buttons or accessing all buttons at the same time, so it was a unique way to play, but it was easy when you're playing RPGs. Aside from all that, I would say the system is pretty great. Now, this shell is not the original shell it came with. It is a third-party one I got from eBay. And even the sticker says 001 instead of 101, which is a bit silly, but, well, I liked how the Zelda one looks, so I went and grabbed one of those shells on eBay. The original shell was in pretty bad shape when I purchased it, so I really had no choice but to install a new one. Now, this video so far has been on the hardware itself, as that is what I wanted to talk about. I mean, hey, Game Boy games look great on it, right? Both GBA and original Game Boy games look awesome, and yes, you have the option to extend the display on original Game Boy games, which is, I would say, not a good idea, but hey, it's there if you want it. Of course, Game Boy games stick out a bit since they are bigger than the GBA cartridges, but honestly, it still doesn't look so bad. I think if you're looking for a Game Boy system that allows you to play GBA and Game Boy games, the SP is a great option. The original GBA is more comfortable for me, and with a backlight mod on it, it makes it even better. But the SP is such a great design and has a nice feel to it that is still a system I would recommend people pick up. This, of course, is if you want to play original cartridges, or you could get an EverDrive and load ROMs on it and play games that way. If you don't want to play on original hardware, then this is something you're not going to want to get. You're more than welcome to play on an emulator on your phone, or buy one of the dozens of retro handhelds that come out nowadays that let you play ROMs of all kinds of systems, put them into sleep mode, save states, cheats, all that stuff. There are many great options. This is strictly just talking about the original hardware of the system and why someone would be interested in getting it. The choice is yours, my friends. That's going to do it for the video. If you enjoy my content and would like to see more of it, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate you doing so. What's your favorite Game Boy system, and what games do you still play on them? Take it easy, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.